I can do it another time.
Just to... Okay, we start this new session. Hi. We have Andrea there in the chat.
On YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Hello, Andrea.
So
we're talking principles today.
Yes. So our today our topic is principles, and maybe if we have time as well, governance.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be useful if we share the work we did here in Paris, and especially about legal form, and maybe we can start with the description of the governance. I don't know if you also can explain this work we did, the different circles and the networks.
Yeah. So basically, Domenico and I met in Paris on Monday, and we spent the whole day talking about lots of stuff, among which we discuss about the governance to push ahead the idea of how we want to shape the organization internally, because it's also very useful to know that before we register the legal form, and whether the two, or whether the governance we go for and we choose fits the legal structure we had in mind, which we're happy to say does, which is good news. So the idea of the internal governance was inspired by the We Share structure, which is a four layers structure. Layers as in describe the involvement that the members or the people involved in the project have. Let's describe it as soft, like from the outer end. So the first one is the less involvement, which is the friends layer. And friends, did we call them friends, right?
Yeah.
So friends are, so there are actually two, okay, sorry, let me go a step behind just to explain. Two layers describe people that are that know about the project, that are somehow involved but quite passive. They don't take major decisions. They support in a way CivicWise. And the other two are people that actually are working on CivicWise, and they have they're more, they spend more time, energy, and everything. So the two passive, which it's now in a negative connotation, are the friends, which are basically supporters, people who like the idea, they like what we do, they might come to our events, but they're not members of the community. Then we had the members, which are people that are part of the community, but they're more listeners than doers. So they're quite passive. They might read, they have access to, the main difference between the two is the access to all the channels and all the softwares and the information that we have. Members have access to all the Discords, Slack, and everything, but they might just read and maybe write something, but they're not very involved. And then the other two are the CivicWiser and the CivicWise Pro, but we don't like the word pro or executive, so let's just call it like that for now, but then we can have a conversation about whether we have a better word. Did you actually figure out a better one, Domenico?
Not really. I was also talking with Andrea about our doubt about the name, and I was talking also here in Paris with people here in Volume, but
no one has
no clue, no clue. We don't know how we can score.
Okay, well, so the CivicWise are basically active members that are involved in doing the actual work. So they participate to hangouts, they participate to take decision, to actually shape the community, which obviously requires more commitment and more time. And then the other layer, the CivicWise Pro, are people that are basically they are working even more on shaping local circles, or they take care of specific part of works. And the reason why that is relevant to the legal form is because from a legal perspective, the CivicWise and the CivicWise Pro are the ones that will be registered from the beginning as, I mean, in the form we chose, they will be called directors and members. So what we discussed with Domenico is having a time frame at the beginning where because at the moment we are very flat. Everyone is everyone is called a CivicWise, but obviously there are people that commit very differently, and it wouldn't be fair to self-nominate some people right from the beginning to be CivicWise or CivicWise Pro. So we will have an open window where people basically volunteer to candidate for one of the two roles as a CivicWise, and there will be certain requirements that they have to meet in order to become one, and those will be the requirements that will stay for future members to join. So there will be things like a certain commitment in terms of as I said, participate to activities, take decision, participate to conversations on specific topics, or forming local circles, becoming ambassadors, and so on and so forth. Did I miss something?
Sorry, also just it's useful to say that Andrea worked on a simple matrix where all of this information is organized, helping to understand better how any of us can become one of the different role, and what kind of commitment any role has, and what kind of information you have access depending on the different role. This kind of information is, I think, well organized and well shown by this matrix Andrea prepared.
Could we share that on Discourse?
Yeah, of course.
We can add that to the thread, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if Andrea already did.
It didn't show up as a notification, so I reckon.
No, yeah, certainly no, yeah, okay. So I think he just...
Yeah, Andrea, if you're listening, if you could...
Yeah, if he's listening, maybe he can do right now.
Yeah, post it when we finish. Yeah, so, and then still talking about the governance, we had a long conversations about circles and what circles are, and And we identified basically 3 sort of group of activities. 2 are called, so one is our local circles. So the term circle is used as a team of people working on something. And the local circles are geographically located group of people. So at the moment, for example, we have the Paris circles, London circles, and so on. Then we have the thematic circles, which are things like the magazine. They could potentially be in the future things like open data or civic data or collaborative, like research projects about collaborative urbanism. So they're kind of piece of work that they can be clustered according to a topic. And then the third group of activities are the actual projects. And we decided to call the first 2 circles because they have some analogy in terms of being able to be replicated in different geographical areas, and be connected with each other. Whereas projects are a very specific category, and we felt that giving it a different name would make it easier to understand the separation. Yeah, and the last thing about the governance is that looking ahead about the next steps, as we discussed previously in the past month, every circle will need, in order to be defined as such, will need to have for now at least 3, not necessarily people, but someone that takes care of the welcoming, the communication, and the coordination. And obviously, it can be the same person doing everything, but once the circle grows, we advise and suggest that these different activities will be separated in order not to have all the burden on one individual. But that was what we felt are the necessary roles within a circles, but obviously it's open. So if anyone has an idea about, other type of activities or tasks that we haven't thought about yet, please do mention it. I believe we can post that in the thread on Discourse, right?
I don't know if we shared this information specifically.
No,
Maybe
I don't
not
think
yet.
we did. No.
No, we have to.
Yeah, I might do that post. Try to.
I'm just checking that Andrea is posting the link with the matrix.
Was it digital already?
Yeah, it's Google Docs.
Okay, that's
Google
good.
Docs. So yes. So yeah, in terms of governance, we also started talking about a new kind of, let's say, category. We don't know exactly how we can call that: family, community, network. We don't know exactly. And the idea is to create a simple connection between different circles that have some kind of connection, common connection, or common interest, or maybe the opportunity to create together some meaningful result or output. We don't know exactly. So I think it's interesting because that is what at the end is CivicWise, because CivicWise, as also said, is a connection between different circles, so thematic circles or or local circles. So the connection and the relation between all of these circles actually creates, in a way, the global community, the global family of global network. We don't know exactly here what kind of word we can use, but creates CivicWise. So the idea is that could be the network mother or the family mother or something like that, and we can have other kind of family. So, and with this reflection, we also introduced, um, or or better, we simplify the definition of projects, because in the past we used as well the concept of circle related with projects. So now, to simplify, we are trying to simplify more and more the description and the communication of our structure. So at the end, we realized, working on it, that there is no need to describe a project as a circle, because a project is a project. So there is no need to create any confusion with that. So in our structure, we have, of course, we said circles, but what these that circles uh, develop and create are projects, basically.
Hello, Saverio.
Hi,
Welcome.
Hi,
thanks.
how are you?
A little bit tired, but it's very hot here today. So
Send some degrees here. We need them.
yeah.
No, it was hot here as well.
Okay. What are
I
you
just
talking about?
governance right now.
Governance.
I just saw that that Andrea posted the matrix. Maybe really, really nasty. I find it very. I mean, I can see how it's very incomplete and very descriptive. But if that's how people, like, the tool that people are going to use to understand how to be a CivicWise or what role, I think it's a bit too complex. We might need to try to make it a bit more easy to understand. Sorry if I push always for like simple to understand and really straightforward, but I think that's quite key, because if people don't understand it, they will opt out.
Yes, I think the work that Andrea did is more to offer, to clarify all the information we already discussed about the governance. Is not um, a document we want to use
Okay.
to communicate this kind of decision. Is more because he is still work in progress. So
Sorry?
it just this job, this work is still work in progress. So it's
Yeah.
not finished yet. So anyway, to offer a better visualization of our governance and the roles and this kind of information, we can work with Jonathan. I
Yeah.
had today a little meeting with Jonathan, and he is available to
Good.
help with the graphics and explain our principles, governance, and our mission, this kind of things. So yeah, we can have. Now we need. I think this kind of document is more is useful to promote a debate on discourse, because so far we didn't offered and published an exhaustive proposal for
Yeah.
this new governance structure. So I think it's more. Uh, yes, Andrea is saying in the chat is consolidation. Is yeah, it's just a document that helped to consolidate what we discussed so far.
Oh, but hold on, sorry. I was actually looking because I clicked on the discourse. I was actually looking at that diagram with the circles under the networks. I didn't see the one on Drive, which I'm looking at now. Okay, sorry. I was talking about something completely different. Okay, no, this is good. This is quite straightforward. Sorry, my mistake.
So I think what is interesting here, and we let people debate and write about it, is that we introduced more information about how we can be a CivicWiser or a member or a friend. So, for instance, here we can read that to join the CivicWise role, we need to contribute to one or more circles governance for at least 6 months. So this kind of information we need to explicitate.
To communicate, explicitly to communicate. No, I think this matrix is really good because it follows the same structure as, for example, in products that have, the basic package and the pro and the, super pro, where you then have, this is what you can have, and then you have a tick or a dot that says, yes, you get these or you don't get the other. Yeah, no, I think it's good. Well done, Andrea.
So, as Ursula, you just said before, what is very, very important right now is to clarify that so far we are, all of us, candidates. So we are not, so far we just have members. So all of us that fill the form, so all of us we are members, but we have no so far no CivicWisers or executive CivicWisers. So we became all of us that want to be a candidate. So if we want to be CivicWiser, we became CivicWiser candidates or executive candidates. And this is important because in this phase as a candidate, we anyway we have to guarantee a sort of commitment with the project. So we hope that with this clarification, we can have a better and more commitment for all of us who wants to be more involved. So becoming a CivicWiser is offering some kind of opportunity, but at the same time some kind of duty or commitment. So in terms of opportunity, is this idea that only the CivicWiser can represent CivicWise. So as a friend or member, we are not allowed to represent CivicWise, and we are not able to start project as a CivicWiser. Of course, you can start project, but you can't use, let's say, the brand, or you can't use the name of CivicWise. And when you are a CivicWiser, you can start using the name, and you can represent all the community. This is very, very important. And so the CivicWiser as well, the difference between CivicWiser and members is that the members are not paid at all. So all the work you did as a member is a voluntary work. As well as a CivicWiser, we still do a volunteer work, but at the same time we can find some kind of remuneration, and yeah. So, but this is very, as Ursula said, is we used as a reference what we share did with its community, and you know, the we share is very success community so far, and they are very well known around the world, and is working. So we are just copying what in other organization is working. Okay, we changed a little bit, but
yeah.
the reference is there.
There is a question from Andrea about more projects can be governance. I just draw this very, I don't know if you can see. So it's kind of like a very simple. Have the three categories. So this is like local. So these are the projects. There is a there isn't a one-to-one relation between the circles and the project. So one local circles can have infinite project, can be run or can be supported by a local circle, but have also a thematic circle. Circle is supporting a project that's using apps to, you know, gather data or to okay, I should have thought about it, but imagine an app that some residents come together and they develop an app for activities in their area. That will have, of course, the support of the London local circle, but if we do have a tech thematic circle, that specific circle will also be involved in supporting the project. So there will be both a local and a thematic supporting the same project. At the same time, there can be a million projects supported just by the tech circle. So there isn't a specific, you know, rule. It all depends on when we scale, what kind of local projects and what kind of thematic, what kind of local circles and what kind of thematic circles we will have. The different names are just to identify the different types of group of work, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense to you, Saverio? Because you weren't there in the discussion, so we can use you as a live test, whether you understand.
I think that it's important to use to open the conversation on discourse. I think it's as the primary step to using the platform. And just yesterday, I was talking with Silvia, that is another activist in Bari that Domenico knows, and we were discussing about how to manage the CivicWise platform at the same time your own platform. That could be a blog or app or whatever you want. So it's not easy to imagine how can you balance these tools, because of course as a kind of project manager you have the big picture, but for a user, let's say a user or a participant, it's a little bit more difficult. So I was starting to think a little bit about
When you
this.
say a personal platform, do you mean like if you have a project running, or do you
Yeah.
mean a project as in an urban project, or something like um, yeah, I don't know, a magazine or
No, I mean, in our cases, we have Sylvia is the director of a project where you map dismissed places in the city, buildings
right.
and spaces. So this platform is a kind of map with
Okay.
markers and other things. For me, it's right now we manage a kind of blog with a map because we are mapping craftsman stories and memories. So there are platforms that you use now. So
I,
we were just thinking about the how to
I think we
manage.
have a very easy way to
Yeah.
Hmm.
connect and to work with this kind of situation. Actually, the idea of circles is to offer a very easy way to connect with
Yeah.
the rest of community or network. Because the idea is, okay, if you have your own projects, actually
Hmm.
your own project could be basically a circle.
A thematic
So,
circle. Yeah.
yeah, for instance, the pop hub
Hmm.
from Sylvia could be considered as a circle of CivicWise, and as well, we insist that there is no need to explicitate or change the brand.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is very powerful and a very important thing because the idea is just okay if you are managed and you are um, part or yeah of other projects and you want this project to be part of CivicWise, you don't need to change the name or the brand of this project. So
No, no, of
just
course. No, this is not the matter. The matter is just to how to I don't know if you want to use the platform of CivicWise,
yeah.
how to use it. I mean, why you need to use
Yes,
the
for instance,
platform.
yes, we
You
have to.
write what do you want to write, for example, in the discourse? Just some updates, maybe. But you, as a project manager, all the users have to come to the CivicWise platform, for example, and use it, or I don't know, for something.
I think the idea of once we have the new like these governance in place, it will be a lot easier to understand because the governance is nothing else than calling roles according to their commitment and access to certain information. So, for
Mm.
example, in the case of Sylvia's platform being
Mhm.
a thematic circle in CivicWise, and a member means that her information will be part of the accessible information
Mm.
available on CivicWise. So what she does will be available, so other local circles can merge and become a community for example, that particular local area, or if they do something very similar,
Yeah, yeah.
things like that. And at the same time, she or the people that already use her app will have access to all the other things that are going on CivicWise. So, for example, imagine she she opens it up on CivicWise, and then there is someone else interested somewhere else in doing the same thing, so they can talk and discuss, oh, how did you do
Yeah.
that, and then someone else can start the same thing, and then it becomes this community of apps doing the same things in different places, for example.
Okay. Yeah, this is. I think this is a kind of a basic level of
Yeah.
interaction. I mean, you can open a kind of folder, then you put all the information that you are able to share with all the community. maybe a lot of information at the beginning, then some updates during the time when you have something to put more, maybe. But we were kind of thinking about inside the developing of a project. It's more difficult.
Is it the infrastructure that you're talking about? Like, how do you manage the flow of information, and how will the conversation all happen on Discourse, or will it be like a separate, and then there will be just updates on the main existing? Is it more that?
Yeah, something like that. For example, just right now the community of CivicWise is using mainly three tools: Slack, Google Drive, and the website mainly. So, but not all the people want to do this kind of things. Maybe, man, just give me Facebook, open a group of Facebook, and just stop that. Maybe, I don't know. So I was just thinking about how can be the reaction when a guy or a girl have in front. It's a lot of tools, a lot of things to learn, where to put, where putting the information, putting something like there, something here. So it was just a basic conversation to imagine in a kind of an advanced level how we can manage this kind of words around us. With a lot of, because sharing is a kind of default condition, I suppose.
Yes, I think as Andrea also shared on chat, it's not just I think that it's not just sharing information. It's also mutualize resources. So, for instance, if Sylvia with her project, is part of CivicWise. For instance, if she needs, for instance, maybe a tech help, we can get this tech help from CivicWise.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a very simple example. Of course, right now, as we are at the beginning, maybe it's not something we can have, but as a network and a very fast-growing project, in the future we can have this kind of situation. So instead of having different platforms, different projects, developing quite similar tools, we can mutualize that and share resources to help the project be more relevant and to go. Yeah, this is a kind of example.
Which is also what Andrea was saying about these bigger architecture of the platform itself, which is actually emphasize Domenico, what you mentioned on Monday as a conversation that doesn't feel urgent because we are still in a prototyping phase, we don't have projects yet, but it's something that maybe we shall after we close up the principal governance and legal form, it's a conversation that we definitely need to start, at least to try to imagine these, architecture, the platform, also from a technical point of view, how it would work, because it's definitely something that we need to, simplify and just make it as easy to use as possible. So. It's actually good that you guys raised the point, because Andrea had the same feeling as well.
Andrea has other questions actually.
Where is he posting them? On YouTube?
In YouTube there is a
Oh.
chat, so
Yeah.
he's posting there. Yeah, actually, he is asking about this new change about circles and projects.
Mm.
So I think to
Can you send me
clarify,
the link of the YouTube chart, please? Because I don't know
it's
what
in on Slack. You can,
is in.
yeah, in general.
I can
Oh
post
yeah,
it
the top. Okay.
on here.
Yeah.
So actually, there is maybe some confusion because we changed the way we structure some topics. So
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so we didn't we didn't explain that the idea to talk about networks and family or community is that the role of the civic wiser is also to take care of different one or more circles, uh, but how I can say that. So Ursula already said that we define that any circle should have three different roles covered. So we have communication, coordination, and welcoming. So the idea is that we have three different people doing this this role, but could be if there isn't any more people available, it could be one person. Um, but we can think in the same term about the CivicWise itself. So, for instance, who is taking care on CivicWise community, and who is doing the welcoming on CivicWise community, who is taking care of the communication in CivicWise. So instead of think that this kind of role are related with circles as thematic circles, we just now we are just we are just specifying that there is a kind of work that civic wisers are doing. This kind of executive civic wisers are doing. So if I am a civic wiser executive, I should take care of all the communities. So I can do that at least in these three different ways. Communication, welcoming, or coordination. So I don't know if I am clear about it. So there is not this idea we had before that any role has a circle. So you have governance circle, communication circle. So you have now people taking care of it.
I think, like, because when we initially talked about it, we also had some confusion. And I think a really good way of understanding what a circle is imagining it as a group of people working, like a teamwork. So a group of people working on something. The local circles obviously is very straightforward. It's a group of people that come together because they are in a specific geographic area. The thematic circles don't have a specific locality, so they can be one member in one city, another member in another, but they all work together on a specific piece of work, whether it's something like a magazine or an event that we organize or a workshop, or things that are more conceptual, like the role of technology in collaborative urban projects. So imagine it as people coming together working on something. Whereas projects are completely different. Projects are just the projects. So obviously there will be people working on that as well, but there is that physical element that a project has, and it just defines it more clearly if we use a different word, or that's what we felt. So yeah, I think imagining it as a group of like a teamwork might be easier. Is it a bit clearer, Andrea, now? Let's see if he replies. And do you need to refresh the YouTube chat to see it, or is it automatically?
I don't think so. Usually it's refreshing automatically.
Okay.
So maybe he's taking care of his children.
Or the Stellar Toi.
Or Stellar Toi.
Where is Savario? He disappeared.
So it's asking, yeah, so Andrea is asking for a clear example. So
what the Sylvia case? For the
yes, maybe you don't know the Sylvia case, Ursula.
Yeah. It's the one Savario.
Yeah.
The one Savario mentioned. He's challenging us tonight. I think he's just a little bit like Fausto, embracing a role.
Yeah.
Can you help me for the Sylvia case? What was his question on the Sylvia case? Did you get it?
No, how we can explain this governance structure using the Sylvia project as an example?
I think it's very simple. The Sylvia project will be a thematic circle. Do you agree? It's that idea of existing running projects or organizations that do stuff that can be considered that comply to CivicWise principles that we include in our activity as a thematic circle.
Actually, yeah, I think it depends. It depends on Sylvia, but the idea is that the Sylvia project should be a thematic circle.
Mm.
But yeah.
He says that it's a very focused project. Yeah, but thematic circles can be very. God, I'm not following. He's commenting on Slack or YouTube. Both.
No, basically, I think Andrea has some kind of delay with.
Oh, right.
With the streaming.
Yeah, maybe. I wanted to say something. Oh yeah, I was reading today. I don't know if you're familiar with the Open Data Institute, but I was reading their business model, and they do something really interesting, which are called nodes, which is a similar idea of our circles. And basically what they do, because they pioneer the use of open data to promote innovation, very, very briefly said. And what they have is, they have their own activities, but then they also have, if there are organizations or companies or startups that are doing work which is very similar to what they do, so promoting the use of open data, and they want to use the brand of Open Data Institute, they can become nodes. And nodes are, let me actually read how they describe them, because I think it's quite well written. So the nodes contribute to the local, national, and international development of open data. Okay. They commit to the local expertise of physical presence to develop and deliver capabilities. connect people in business. No, sorry, this is not relevant. No, there was a better description. But basically what they do is they tell them, okay, you can become part of our network and become the node. So in your either like sector or locality, you become the reference point for people that are interested in the topic, and we promote you as well. And in return, what you do is basically you evangelize the work that we're doing for us. So it's kind of like in their case, they charge the nodes to be one of them. So it's almost like you become a hub for CivicWise in that specific area, or in your, in Sylvia's case, is that type of platform. And what that allows you to do is that if someone wants to do something similar, they come to you first instead of, creating another circle.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about actually what Andrea is saying on the chat. I agree, but not about project. I mean, I think actually the difference between being a project or a circle is that as a project, you are a passive. I mean, is why I was saying that it depends on Sylvia, because if you understand your project as a circle, actually you have to embrace our governance suggestion. So you, for instance, you should have open governance in your project. Instead of that, if you consider your project as a project, you can manage the project as you want. I don't know.
I didn't really. I was trying to read what he meant. I'm a bit lost with his question. So what was he asking?
I don't know. Maybe. But in a way, we also said that a circle is independent and autonomous.
Yeah, autonomous.
Autonomous. So a circle could have a different governance actually because it's independent.
I think Andreas might get confused, because before we used to call governance as a circle. So just scrap that, Andrea. Forget about that. And now imagine circles just as either a thematic group or a geographic group. Governance, communication are things that we're talking about and we have to talk about, and we will continue. It's more like an operational task. See it that way. Is okay, go ahead. Yeah, you got it. I'll try to make a visual doodle of that and post it on Discourse, so maybe graphically, like visually, it's easier to understand. I'll do it tomorrow afternoon. We had to talk about principles, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't. So I think maybe we should think a little bit more about governance.
It looks like it's needed.
Yeah, to clarify this distinction between circles and community and projects. Yeah, so we need more time. But maybe we can talk a little bit about the principles.
I'll have to leave in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, in terms of principles, yeah, we inspired as well by we share principles and other initiatives. I personally be part in Spain, and also reading what other people already brought in different documents. We just have now a first proposal, and yeah, now I don't know if it's the case to say any principle we wrote down, but I agree with Ursula. The last comment, Ursula, you brought on the document about explicitate the difference between be open source and the openness of the project.
Yeah, I think it's because I was reading it, and in a way, it's the same. They both connect to the idea of being open, but one is an input, so it's how open we are towards new members coming in, and then the other is how open are we about the output of our work. And it's probably, because there are two very important things, they probably need to be separated, in my opinion, also to give them the right importance that they have. So yeah, that would have been the first. But how do you feel about, because I think we need to, like, we've been talking about the principles for a while, so I think in general, when, like, after we talk for a couple of times just digitally, what would be good to do to push the work ahead maybe is get 3-4 people interested to work on that piece of work, sit down together, also digitally, hang out, and close it. So it would be good if people who are interested in talking about the principles sat together, went through all the principle one by one, changing the form, the terminology, and then finish a public opening, discourse if someone wants to change last minute something, and if not, it's done and closed. How do you feel about it? Because we really need to have that.
I think it's useful, this specification.
But it's always in the difference between project and circle.
No.
This kind of discussion. I mean, let's say skipping from governance to principles. In the case, choosing the case in which you work, if you are proposing a project or open a circle for discussion or sharing information, there are different ways of open the data or open the information. I'm just trying to connect the.
I don't know if I understand properly the question, but what we are also discussing is general principles, and specifically we can have different way to be open.
Open, exactly.
For instance, personally, I think in terms of data, we has also an interesting discussion with Ursula here. Hopefully, in some time we have a valuable archive of information, really civic oriented, so we can have a sort of civic big data, and of course we want this archive be open, but at the same time it's useful for us to use the value of this archive
Yeah.
to receive the resources and the funding we need. So what we can maybe propose we can have is, okay, the data is available, but to consult it, to read it, you have to be a member, for instance.
Yeah, like with let's say
So
a
it's a way,
password.
yeah,
You need the password.
yeah, but in a way we could also share with without this password, but I think it's just a discussion. But maybe it's interesting if we can say, okay, it's open, but as we achieve that with a lot of work,
Hmm.
if you want to if you want to join and to have access at this information, at least you have to be a member. So in
Yeah.
the case of a big institution, being a member is also means also to pay a membership. So it could be a way to finance the community. So I
Or a
think
partnership, or you
yeah,
develop a
partnership.
partnership, something like that.
So so we in a way it's important to say to specify that we want to be open, so this
Yeah.
openness, but at the same time we want to promote as well open source
Knowledge.
tools, open source protocols and this kind of things. So for
Yeah.
instance, the method, the civic design method is of course open source, so anyone can use it.
I don't know if I confused you. I thought that using the input and output might have been easier to explain. It's basically the different directional flow. On one hand is we are open towards things coming in CivicWise, so people,
Yeah,
and on the other we are open about things that go out of CivicWise, so data and case studies, knowledge, resources,
Projects.
projects. Yeah,
Yeah. No, for me
yeah.
it's clear. For me it's clear. The
yeah,
difference between input and output.
yeah.
It's helpful. I'm writing something to tweet right now because it's nice the idea what it means to be a member for a big institution. Of course, you can have a lot of opportunity and possibility to establish a partnership with a big institution and not few citizens, for example. So it's a very different scale and very interesting case. Yeah.
So anyway, I think we are now at the end of the session.
But Sylvia
Mm.
Yeah.
is now listening us.
Ah,
Ooh,
great.
Yes, the
we
case
call her
study of
in.
tonight.
It's the power of technology. Like
Yeah,
someone is talking about you in the internet. Just
yeah.
connect. We shall do like more conversation about people not being there. Maybe if there is a pattern. Hi, Sylvia.
In some part of the world, Sylvia is there. Hi,
Yeah.
Sylvia.
Hello, Sylvia. I hope we can talk very soon.
Mm. It's an interesting project. Would be nice to find out more about it.
So in terms of the final part of the session, as usual, we have to think about next topic. Talking with Andrea, I suggest to center again on governance and principles, because we have to. I don't know
How
what do you
about
think.
how about we? Because principles, I think we're pretty ahead on the work. So it's a matter of sitting down and talking about every single principle and rephrase it or add something or separate, but it's basically there. So how about we spend a session to actually not just talking, but like actually going through everyone and changing it, and then it's done. So by the end, we aim by the end of the Hangout to have the final draft. Then we can publish on this course, give it a week if people want to change, and then it's finished. Because we need that before we go ahead on the legal form, because it will be part of the statute and what we declare.
Okay, I think it's a good idea. I was also I had some doubts because studying the WeShare documentation, they don't use principles, they use values.
It's nicer values.
So yeah,
but maybe, there are two different things, principles and values.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we can discuss about it next session.
Can you make just a quick example of I don't know, one word for values and one for principles? Where is the difference? I don't know. In English, for me, it's more slow to connect the ideas.
A principle is more something that defines you, like it defines the identity. A value is more like ethical, or yeah, I would say like ethical. So, for example, you could say that the openness
is more a value.
Is more, well, that could be both actually. Let me open the principle. I mean, it's subtle. It's a subtle difference, but let me open them so I can look at them, and maybe I'll find a better example with the existing text we have.
For you, Domenico, where is the difference between values and principles?
I think a value could be also a sort of result of what we are doing, and a principle is a starting point. It's what it's more a sort of reference. I don't know. I think starting point is
maybe value is an aspiration and principle is a fact. Do you agree? I mean, wanting to make it very distinctive. I mean, obviously there is some compenetration, but
yeah, aspiration, I think, described very well. A fact about principle.
A fact, or it's more like a definition. Maybe definition. No.
Yes. So it's why I'm using this idea of starting point. Is actually is the concept that we have to use to structure our activity and our projects. So for instance, be open could be a value, of course, but is a need for us, because otherwise we are not CivicWise. So if we are not. So there is.
I can't translate this.
Let's look at the dictionary, no?
Yeah, let me.
Anyway, maybe we can discuss that next session. So it's
So next week we'll go through every single principle that we have, but we will start the conversation on Discord. So hopefully we'll be just checking what people have done and then have said, and then decide and discuss about whether to call it principle, values, or something else.
I translated. Domenico made a rhyme. Rima. It's a rhyme. I call it. I write it in the chat. Right.
Yeah.
Wise.
Any more things we need to discuss? No. Maybe also about the legal form.
Yes.
So I don't know, because during this week we can also go ahead about the governance and the different roles.
Yeah.
In terms of, because we have to prepare this candidate position. So I don't know if you have time. Next session, we can update a little bit about where we are with the legal form
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, so by next week, I'll look into the I'll read. There is a very long documentation about the legal form with respect to the new governance that we decided, and I already found out, by the way, that directors and members can be the same person. So that's something that we know. But yeah, anyway, I'll try to figure out all the whether it's, you know,
Yeah, I think
the governance we have fits
I
and
think it's
other fits.
important because next week we define the principles, and in 2 weeks, I think we
It's
should
governance
have, yeah, governance definition. So after that,
method.
we have to start with the formal registration. So we need to know who would be or want to be in the registered organization,
Yeah.
in order to have for July a registered no-profit organization.
Yeah, so today we're the 3rd. Basically, next week is the 8th. We're going to talk about principles. And then on the 15th
Is the governance
is the
again?
governance. And then we can, yeah, till the end of the month, we can open
Yeah, we
the,
should. Yeah,
yeah. So by the end of July, we will, sorry, by the end of, no, I'm looking at July, sorry. So today is the 3rd, and we'll have the 10th is principles, and the 17th is governance. So by the end of June, then we will have the candidates,
yeah, exactly. So for the end of the
and
June,
July
we
we
have
can
to.
register it, yeah.
Yeah, we for the end of June we have to explain clearly how we will proceed with the legal form and who want to be registered
Yeah.
on this legal form. So at the end of the June, I mean, maybe, yeah, sure, the beginning of July, we can proceed with the registration.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we can, there will be some stuff that we need to draft, but yeah, that's good.
So, okay, so that's all. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we of course we have now some kind of trouble about communication, social media. We know there is some kind of yeah, disorder on that, but we are not mm, concerned too much, because we are now trying to solve this kind of basic
Mm,
things. And personally, I think when we have the principles and the governance structure, we could have a better commitment
mm,
by more people with the project.
yeah. Just a quick one. Saverio, did you see the post on Saturday in the blog? The summary post?
I don't know, because these days I was in my hometown with very uh,
Later
it
connection.
was very, yeah, hard to connect on internet. So where is
It's on a blog, but you don't have to look at it. It's just
blog?
getting
Okay,
your idea about how do you
yeah.
feel. because like we figure out that it was really difficult for most people to follow up and be in the loop of all that's going on. So we decided to have a Saturday post.
Yeah,
on the
toolkit
blog.
or Canvas. This is
No,
what
no,
are
no,
you
no, no, no. It's
no?
oh, maybe it's the last post.
Yeah, 29 of May, right?
No,
In the blog.
no. I think it was the 30th, wasn't it?
Okay, this
Can you
week in
see it?
CivicWise.
But the
Probably.
idea is, do you think it would help to have a blog post on Saturday that summarizes what happened during the week?
I think yes, on the blog, and it helps to the social activity. Yeah, because yeah, sometimes it's helpful to have questions to post to tagging people maybe. So I think yes, it's if it's not a big work to do, I think it's helpful.
No, the idea is to be like a bullet points, so that if people have literally 10 minutes a week, that's what they can read to be up to date.
Yeah.
Cool.
Someone. Okay.
Domenica, did you?
Actually, I have some news.
Oh.
It's not good news.
No.
Yeah, the first one is we are not between the 10 selected for the Urban
LSC?
Commons. So it's, and the second one is we are neither between the 50 selected for the European culture idea camp. So no, it's funny because we received the information together today, this morning.
Yeah. Just to make it work. No, but you know what? Even looking at the WeShare thing, I think it's really too early. Even if people might like the idea, we don't have much to show that it works. And for these type of things, you need to show evidence. It's normal. Otherwise they would, if they don't have the evidence, someone can argue, oh yeah, but what can they show? So I wouldn't worry too much. It was good that we tried to push these things ahead, but I think now when we have all the other things in place and we have a prototype project, it will make so much easier any other, and we might look at more into grants or seed funding, like things for an early stage rather than things that want to see evidence.
So is a question?
No, I think it's more my feeling that I think we shall look more at things, funding for ideas under construction or projects under construction, more than
yeah.
And this one will come. It's just too early now, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. There is no concern about that. So that's all.
Okay. What?
I mean, that's all for today. We can
okay.
close the session, or there is any more?
No, I really need to go as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
See you next week.
Cool. Thanks. See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.